tabletop position, hands underneath the shoulders, and then taking the hands. This is just a good way of measuring out a downward facing dog. You'll know yourself once you get used to doing it. You'll know the measurement, you'll know the distance your hands need to be. If you are looking like this, you know what I mean? You can definitely either take your hands back to your feet or your feet up towards your hands. There's no need to be like the length of the mat, because that looks more like a plank than a downward facing dog. So just finding the distance. The downward facing dog, you want to be like, it's also called mountain in traditional hatha yoga. So this is the top of a mountain. So you don't want to be a hill, you know. So if you take your hands back further, you're actually like a mountain. And we want the curvature in the low back. We want that opposed to that kind of thing, you know. If you see this is what we're trying to work against that. So we want that, but that's also a work in progress, and it's hard to know yourself without somebody there looking at you. But you know, I suppose once you have it in your head, this is what we aspire to, and then all together we're going to take a deep inhalation to the top of the mat. So we're going to step that right leg forward as gracefully or as crazy, whatever you have to do to get that right leg up just beside that right hand. And then we'll do the same, taking the left leg up. We're going to have the feet about hip distance apart, so inhaling that left leg up. We're going to exhale down into a fold, and then we're going to inhale, rolling up, exhaling the hands down through center. Well done, well done. It doesn't matter how pretty it looks, because you know, yoga is it's a long game. You know what I mean? It's a long game. I've been practicing yoga for many years, and it takes many years for your body to just open up and to be able to do everything with ease, you know. So I'm going to take the hands down either side of the body, checking that the feet are parallel, hip distance apart, shoulders relaxed, and once again I'm going to inhale the hands up, exhale, folding forward, so pushing the bum back, feeling all the muscles up the backs of the legs opening up. Every exhalation coming down a little deeper. And then with our next inhalation, we're going to step the legs back, both legs back, for our downward facing dog. And we're just going to try and feel into where feels good. I'm going to take my hands back a little bit to allow me to push up and keep a little bend in our knees to keep our curve in that lower back. We can bend one knee as we straighten the other heel down towards the ground. Feeling the stretch up the back of the legs, opening them up. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come forward, taking our shoulders over our wrists. So if I'm to come down into a plank, I'll have to slide my legs back a little bit. We don't want this. I see a lot of this. You're not engaging your core then. That's cheating. So you want the core to be engaged. Heads of the arm bones also. We're not coming up like this. Heads of the arm bones into the shoulder sockets. Not pushing myself away, pushing down into the mat. Deep breaths. One final deep inhalation. And then we're going to exhale, dropping the knees down. Dropping our chest and our chin down for Ekapadmasana, or 8-limb pose. Then we're going to slide the pelvis down. We're going to take the hands down so that my elbow is at a 90-degree angle, right here. 90-degree angle. We're going to rest our foreheads on the ground, right? And together we're going to just try this out. So you see, the hands are down either side of the chest. They're tight into the chest. My elbows are not going to be splaying out this way. They're going to be pointing straight back behind us. As before, we will be creating a distance between our shoulders and our ears. So the shoulders are coming down the back. Long neck. And what we're going to do is we're going to press into our fingertips. We're going to press into the hands. And we're just going to drag our hands back towards us without moving them. Just applying pressure to our fingertips and our hands. And you should feel your shoulders, the shoulder blades switching on when we drag back towards us. Digging and dragging the hands back without moving them. Okay, so once we've all found that, we're going to continue on with the pose. If anybody does have any questions, give me a shout in the comments, give me a shout in direct messages. So we're just going to press this, not the soles of our feet, but the front of our feet down into the ground. We're going to root into our pelvic bone. So that pelvic bone there, rooting that into the ground. We're going to point the elbows back, pressing the hands into the ground. And then with a deep inhalation, we're going to curl up, dragging our hands back. Exhaling and coming down. So we'll rest the foreheads on the mat. I hope you all felt that. You know, if you've done Cobra pose before and you pull up, it's good. Once you have your elbows back, you really feel that in your shoulders. But it's like an added element with that dragging. So all together we're going to prepare again. The feet, the pelvic bone, the palms of the hands pressing into the ground, the elbows pointing straight back behind us, and then a deep inhalation, curling up, dragging the hands back. Exhaling down. So we know the drill at this stage. We're going to do one more. So the feet, the pelvis, the hands, elbows pointing straight back, and with a deep inhalation, curling up, dragging the hands, exhaling down. Take a deep breath here. We're going to turn over our toes. We're going to press up onto our knees. And from the knees we're going to push up again into downward facing dog. So pushing the bum up into the air, pressing into the fingertips, pressing into the palms of the hands. We'll bend one knee as we drive one heel down towards the ground, stretching out the backs of the legs. Deep breaths right down into the bottom of the lungs. And then with our next deep inhalation, we're going to take that right leg up by that right hand, left leg up by the left, exhaling down into a fold, inhaling the whole way, hands in the air, exhaling the hands down through the center. Well done. You've made it through your first, or maybe you've done yoga before. So we're going to lie back onto the mat. We're going to hug the knees up into the chest. I'll center myself. So hugging the knees into the chest. We can rock to the left and rock to the right. Massaging the back. Take our forehead up towards our knees, curling into a little egg. Breathing deeply down into the bottom of the lungs. Take one final deep inhalation. Exhaling, letting go, dropping the feet down. So you can take the hands out either side of the body. I'm going to move this singing bowl. Hands either side of the body with our palms facing up at the shoulder height. We'll take a deep inhalation here. And then we're going to exhale, dropping the knees over to the right hand side. We're going to keep the knees and the ankles together as we look out over the left hand. So keeping the knees and ankles together, we're going to really feel this twist around the body from the tailbone all the way up to the back of the head, a gentle twist. So breathing right down into the bottom of the lungs. Emptying the lungs completely on the exhalation. You really feel it in the chest when we breathe down into the bottom of the lungs. And as we fill the lungs up with air in this kind of twist, when our lungs are in a compromised position, it just pushes our lungs to work a little bit harder and over time creates a greater lung capacity. So exactly what we need at the moment is some strength in our lungs. And then with our next deep inhalation, we're going to take the knees up. Exhaling, dropping the knees over to the left hand side. We're going to look out over the right. We can close down the eyes. Just feel into this twist the whole way up the body. Breathing right down into the bottom of the lungs. And with our next deep inhalation, taking our knees up towards the ceiling. And we're just going to lie out for a short Shavasana before we get into the pranayama class. So the next class coming is pranayama, which is the deep breathing exercises. So I'm just going to lie down with the palms of the hands facing up, the feet hip distance apart. Breathing right down into the bottom of the lungs. Filling the body up with oxygen on the inhalation. Emptying the body of carbon dioxide on the exhalation. With every exhalation, just allowing the body to relax deeper and deeper. We can even repeat to ourselves in our heads with every exhalation. We can say, deeply relaxed. Feeling all the muscles relaxing down into the mat underneath. And then whenever we're ready, we can just begin to move our fingers and toes. We can gently roll over to the right hand side, coming up to a seated position, taking our hands in front of our chest if we want, and just giving thanks to whatever we have to be thankful for. I give my thanks to all of you. Hari Om.